We designed the California Collaborative Fisheries Research Program to be a program that engaged fishermen, scientists in collecting data that could be used for resource management. This is a program that was designed at the outset to engage the fishing community with scientists to provide relevant data for management of California's marine resources. 15 years ago, we went up and down the state and we met with fishing communities and we met with resource managers, and we designed a protocol that used everybody's knowledge. We thought it was really important to get the fishing community involved in monitoring California's marine protected areas.
We go into areas, we actively fish from 100 feet of depth or less. Fishing shallow, we're able to catch fish and release them, and they survive. They identify every fish, they identify the species, they measure the fish, they tag many of them with a tag that has a number and associated reward with that number if you call it. I've been involved with it for 14 years now, and you see real changes, real dynamic movements of fish populations. All of a sudden we have a lot of one type of fish in a marine protected area, and then all of a sudden that population shifts and you see an expansion of another population.
For the most part, there are more fish inside of MPAs than outside of MPAs. We also see some really interesting information about where fish are moving. So as part of the program, we tag fish on the boat and release them back into the water. And we've actually seen that certain species like black rockfish move from the MPAs to outside areas. For example, many of the black rockfish caught on the central coast of California have been recaptured by fishermen up in Oregon.
We had a huge explosion of blue rockfish in both Buchan and Piedras Blancas, and we had a first 1,000 fish day. And that's like a dozen anglers out there volunteering caught over 1,000 fish in a day, which was quite remarkable, all of which were released and many of which were tagged.
A lot of these anglers wouldn't have the opportunity to fish inside an MPA. So having that opportunity, they might be able to catch a bigger fish or catch a lot of fish. And each angler has a different goal for what they're doing out there. But it is really exciting to see when they achieve those goals or catch a huge lingcod or catch a huge vermilion. The excitement on the boat is palpable. One of the coolest catches that we had this year was up in Point Lobos near Monterey, California. We actually caught a sheephead, which is a Southern California species and not typically seen that far up in the Central Coast. And that means that potentially this long-term monitoring program is allowing us to see how species ranges might be shifting through time with warming temperatures and things like that.
There is a huge body of information that's being generated that's available from agencies like CDFW, where people can start to see how these places are doing.
We've taken the knowledge that fishermen have about the ocean and we've incorporated that into our sampling protocol. We've also created a protocol with the stock assessment scientists and the managers at the California Department of Fish and Wildlife so that we know that the data we're collecting can be used in management.
Having an outlet that's an applied outlet where our data can go to help guide management decisions it's a career goal for me.
I find that working with the local community and anglers is something that we need to do in science. It helps us to translate that science in a way that's easily understandable, but also makes sense for why we need these different programs for conservation.
To me, it feels like hope that there's something you can do that can help gather enough information to allow for the adequate management of the species out here in the near shore and deeper. I would encourage people to volunteer to go with the CCFRP on a fishing trip. It's at no cost to you. The gear is provided free of charge. You don't need a fishing license. You go out there, you'll catch all the fish you possibly can during a prescribed period of time. You can't take them home and eat them, but you can have a good time on the water and help contribute to the science being done in the marine reserves.